Well, it's been an eventful week here at the New York Stock Exchange when it comes to digital assets. The New York Stock Exchange developing a blockchain-based platform for trading tokenized securities, and this does allow for 27 operations with instant settlement. And crypto custodian BitGo jumping as much as 36% shortly after the open before giving back most of those gains by the close. BitGo's Class A shares began trading following its $18 per share IPO, valuing the company at more than $2 billion. Well, joining me to weigh in on this Friday morning is John D'Agostino, Head of Strategy at Coinbase Institutional and board member for AMA. John, great to have you back. Thank you so much for joining me.
Always great to be here, Remy.
Well, there is so much that has happened so far in 2026, only 23 days in. But when it comes to tokenization, what do you make of all the announcements, especially given the fact that BitGo went public and their stock was on Ondo?
So it's very exciting. So obviously the big announcement coming, the New York Stock Exchange announcing its plans, albeit somewhat light on details right now, which I understand, plans for doing extended trading via tokenization, so 24-hour trading all around the world. Now purists in crypto will cynically say, well, that's just an extended private ledger effort. The reality is these are wonderful steps that are being taken to undergo a massive change overall in the industry. So it wasn't that long ago when these booths were staffed with human beings, specialists, who acted as intermediaries for a lot of order flow. And we saw a gradual shift over to electronic trading. So I think this is the beginning. I think it's wonderful what New York Stock Exchange is doing. I lost a bet. I predicted at the beginning of the year that one of the major stock exchanges would announce this. I thought it would be one of the other ones first. I think they all will announce this in short order because the NYSE leads the world and is the hallmark for exchanges. And so I think this is a wonderful first step to what Larry Fink, Brian Armstrong, and many others have been talking about. 2026 is the year that tokenization takes hold at the institutional level.
Yeah, and speaking of the institutional level, one theme that keeps cropping up is institutional adoption as we head into 2026. But in terms of the outlook for this year, in terms of themes, drivers, trends, and new markets, what are you most excited about right now? Why?
Sure, so Coinbase just put out its 2026 market outlook, and it's a big document. I suggest everyone read it, but if you ChatGPT it, I think that the three key elements for 2026 are maturity, value, and privacy. So by maturity, I mean the continued institutionalization at both the corporate and government level of crypto and blockchain. So we'll see more clarity coming out. Hopefully we'll see clarity coming out, fingers crossed. But regardless, we'll see increased clarity in both the US and abroad, increased institutional adoption. It is hard to understate, or to overstate I should say, what a massive success the Bitcoin ETFs were for firms like BlackRock, Grayscale, and others. That is going to be replicated over time, increased tokenization. That's the maturity portion. Value, remember a time when internet companies were priced on eyeballs? That was great, right, for a while, and then they had to make money. I think we're seeing a similar shift with tokenization. So these token launches, just mere usage won't be enough. You're going to have to prove utility. And then finally, privacy. And I think that'll be really pushed by, interestingly, AI. And as more and more lawsuits come up about AI's usage of data, people will start to realize that the tokenization allows for the ownership and potential monetization and security of that data. So I think those are the big three for 2026.
Yeah, and I'm glad you highlighted those key themes and also suggested the usage of Gen AI when looking at that report, because it is a heavy outlook report for Coinbase Institutional. But finally, before I let you go, of course, we're keeping a close eye on the crypto majors. And I understand you had some price targets, but when it comes to the bigger picture, what are you watching when it comes to the crypto majors, and why does it matter?
So, look, it's been a tough couple of months for crypto. I stand by the notion, I've been very public about this, I think assets like gold are complementary to assets like Bitcoin, not competitive. I'm thrilled for gold's rise in the last few months. I see a great mean reversion trade for both the crypto stocks as well as Bitcoin, because these two things tend to move in waves. So what I'm looking for is these high quality companies like Coinbase and others producing good earnings, producing solid results, and continuing to work with the government to get regulatory clarity, because the path of that technical evolution is very, very clear.
And finally, before I let you go, we have less than 60 seconds here, but you mentioned regulation and you mentioned clarity earlier. So what can we expect from the nation's capital this year when it comes to legislation?
I'm a relentless optimist about this. People forget, the Genius Act, which was one of the first bipartisan bills to pass in a very long time, that got pretty scary towards the end. I mean, people forget, everyone thinks it was smooth sailing. It wasn't. It died 4 or 5 times. So this is the process. This is a massively important bill. It has to be done right. All the players are at the table. We want the American consumer to be paid what they're owed. We think that will be the end result, and I am confident that the adults are all at the table and it'll get worked out.
Well, John, it was great having you back on the show. Hopefully we can dive deeper into each of those topics that we talked about. So thank you so much for your insights as well as your perspective. Thank you.